Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Flawless Fatherhood. I'm your host, Mr. 5050, and I have an awesome show for you today. Very impactful show. Listen, as a father's rights advocate, not only a father's rights advocate, but first a father of 3 sons, but also as a father's rights advocate, I've employed a mindset of attacking this fatherless narrative and this single mother epidemic at its root, okay? Look, to all the people that are going and attacking it through legislature and everything else, more power to them. But to me, I truly believe it's not necessarily about changing the laws. Stay with me. It's not about changing the laws. It's about changing our behavior. Hey, check it out. It's a very awesome episode and you don't want to miss it. So stick around to the end. If you get any type of value out of this video, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the Flawless Fatherhood community. Okay, so before we get going, I'd be remiss if I didn't give you a little bit of insight of who I am and how I get to this position. Listen, I'm a father of 3 sons. My first 2 sons are currently 27 and 22 years old. They were a product of a marriage when I was married in late 1995. And unfortunately, at the age of 19, me and my ex-wife, we were 19 years old. We got divorced at 29 years old in 2006. All right. So we had 2 sons. Our sons were 9 and 3 years old. 9 and 4. I'm sorry. I apologize. 9 and 4 years old when we got a divorce. All right. I was able to secure my sons as the primary parent, as their mother had every other weekend visitation. All right. Through a divorce in 2006. 2006. No time recently. Okay? Now, let me stop here. Let everybody know, my ex-wife is not a woman that's on drugs. Is not an alcoholic, not a person that abused her children at all. We have the same careers. She have a mortgage. She's remarried. Everything's hunky-dory. She has a 3rd son, just like I have a 3rd son. I have a 3rd son and that's currently 11 years old. Let me get back to my oldest 2 sons though. They're currently 27 and 21, and I was able to raise them from the ages of 9 and 4 as the primary parent post-divorce, through divorce and post-divorce. That meant a lot. It was very important because I was able to raise them into the best versions of themselves, okay? And they've self-admitted that if it wasn't for me raising them, then they wouldn't be who they are today. You know, so that makes me feel good that I was able to put myself in position. I've had this passion for a long time, okay? And my youngest son is a product of an unwed relationship, okay? So he's 11 years old, just turned 11 actually. And me and his mother, I have a 50-50 joint physical custody with his mother, okay? So here it's week to week. So she has him a week, I have him a week. She has him a week, I have him a week. She claimed him for income tax on 1 year, I claim it the next. And it goes like that until he's an adult. Straight 50-50, joint, physical, legal, and everything across the board. All right? So here's my thing. I'm a father that's been successful in securing his children through a marriage and divorce, and successful on the other end of the spectrum through an unwed situation, okay? So listen, I dare you to find any other father's rights advocate that has been on both sides of the spectrum. I've sat back, gentlemen, and I've looked and I say, okay, listen, how is it that I was able to secure my children? What did I do? What did she do? How did these fathers lose custody? It don't matter if they were married or not married or not married. What happened here? And I devised together, and I understand based on what the laws are, not all the laws, but common sense. I like to keep it simple as possible so people can actually consume it. All right. I'm not a person that fight it through laws. The laws are what they are. I'm not in the business of begging the bully, which is the family law and court system and the higher entities that made it that way. This is by design, okay? So when When people say, oh, I want to change the laws, it's like asking the bully to stop bullying you. Will the bully ever stop? No, he won't. Okay? So again, get any kind of substance from this video. That's my, I got to give a little, early little kind of like preamble to what I've got going on here. So if you enjoy this content, like the video and consider subscribing. It'll mean a lot in trying to build a community of flawless fathers. Okay, let's get into it. This video is about teaching your sons what they can do and protecting them from being statistics and not being able to have their children, secure their children due to a divorce or breakup or some type of custody issue. What are you doing to protect your sons from going through what you went through? Actually, I posted this in a father's rights group probably like a week and a half ago, and it got a lot of positive responses. And I read a lot of, so I was like, I should make a video about this, okay? Now listen, here are the top 3 things you can do. Now granted, you can do more than these 3 things, but I wanted to make it 3 things so you can kind of consume it, because I knew I was gonna run my mouth a little bit in the beginning of the video. All right, so we're gonna get to it. First off, understand that as a father, we have a right to raise our sons. We can't raise them with, handling them with little cotton gloves, okay? We can't do that. We have to treat them like they're going to be men. Do that mean talk to them harsh? No, but it means talk to them direct and don't pull any punches, especially when it comes to this, okay? We're gonna go to number 1. Now it's gonna start kind of simple, but it's gonna grow to the most important thing. So that's why important you need to stick around to the end. All right, the first thing is talk to your sons don't talk to them. Educate your sons. Educate your sons about safe sex. Okay? Whoa, wait a minute, Mr. 50-50. Wait, you can't, my son, I gotta tell my son that he's not supposed to be having sex before he gets married. Why would you do that? That's lazy parenting. Wait, no. That's lazy fatherhood, okay? Because let's keep it a stack. Did you wait till you were married before you had sex? Absolutely not. None of us are doing it. 99.99% of us ain't doing that, okay? So don't use that as your means for talking to your son about safe sex. That's not talking to him about safe sex at all. Educate your child. Not just talk to them, educate them. When I say educate them, that means talk to your child. First of all, let them know, try to educate them about when is the right time to have sex. And be smart about it. Okay? That don't mean you're promoting them to have sex and you're pushing them towards it. But you don't want your son out there having sex at 14, 15, or hell, younger nowadays, and not be protecting themselves and going unprotected. So you need to talk about condoms. Not talk about condoms. You need to educate your child on when it's time to use condoms, how to use a condom, how to properly put it on, how to properly open it, how to properly put it on everything. I know, see, a lot of fathers, they want to talk about that. They'll just tell you, so, well, here's some condoms and toss some freaking, a pack of Trojans. No, you don't do that. You shouldn't do that. I can remember when my oldest son, he was younger. He was around that age, right? 14 or something like that. We had a little a curl bench weight set in the house. I took off the curl bar part, and I had a condom, and I opened it. I talked to him about it, opened it, told him, showed him, squeezed the tip, and I put it on the top of the part where the hand go. And I rolled it down like that. I squeezed the tip, rolled it down. Right there, whatever. Just like I had, had thing between legs. And like that. And I let him know the importance of why you squeeze it to keep the air out before you put it on like that. Because if you just put it on without that, then guess what? It's gonna have air in it. Guess what? It's gonna pop, and then you're gonna have an issue. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So you gotta talk to them about that. You gotta educate them, okay? Because if we let our young sons out there, and even if we don't educate them or we don't educate them properly, they're gonna have a child, and that's immediately gonna have them enhanced. That's gonna higher their probability to being a child that's away from their child because the mother has them, because he's not even in position to be a father yet. Okay? So educate your son about condoms. Educate him about STDs. We're still on safe sex. This is part 1 about safe sex. So condoms, safe sex. STDs. My apologies. STDs. Now, when I say STDs, listen, you need to damn near scare them into doing the right thing. Damn near scare them. Meaning, like, show them pictures, Google pictures of gonorrhea on a man's private part. Show them that. Show them, can't see some of the other stuff, but show them STDs on a man and their genitalia. And show them, like, hey, this is a product of unprotected sex because he didn't use a condom. Scare them into doing the right thing. Scare them into protecting themselves. That's what I did. That's why I have a 27-year-old and a 22-year-old that, guess what, don't have any children. Yeah, okay? That's what you got to do. So, about safe sex, it's condom and STDs. And you also want to talk to them about pregnancy. You want to let them know, hey, listen, you don't want to be getting pregnant early. You need to do these things so you don't get pregnant, because if you get pregnant, you're not going to be able to stay with your son. You know what I'm saying? It's going to mess up your school, you being in school, the girlfriend being in school. It's going to throw a wrench in my life, your mom's life, all type of stuff. Who's going to be able to keep the kid? You got to be responsible, son. So make sure you do this whenever the time it comes to it. You should wait as long as you can, but if not, you need to learn this information. So educate them about sex, and that's about condoms, STDs, and about getting the consequences of getting a pregnancy, and especially getting pregnant early at a young age. Because trust me, you got a better chance if you're 30, 35. Well, it's too late. I say too late. 30, 35, you're having children. Vice if you're 15, 16, 20 years old having children. Guess what? We understand that relationships don't last, and we understand how it goes, as far as with the courts and the court system and breakups. Okay, so educate your son about safe sex involving condoms and STDs and early pregnancy. Number 2 is birth control. Okay, birth control. Now, granted, birth control? Now, listen, I understand. Of course, your son can't be on birth control, but educate your sons on. We've all been there, right? In the comments, write a check mark or comment if you've ever heard any of these things. My point is, when I say birth control, let them know that when it comes to birth control and having a girlfriend or whatever, somebody you see in a dating, and they're saying they're on birth control, that's not something they need to be believing or putting their faith in. Okay? Got some notes here. Things that they're probably likely to hear. And I'll tell you why you should actually talk to them and educate them on these things. From a girl, they'll more likely be like, you'll hear, oh, I want to feel the real thing. I want to feel the real thing. Or, I'm not ovulating. I'm not ovulating. You ain't got to worry about it. Don't pull out. That type of stuff. Or, don't worry about it. I can't get pregnant. You don't have to worry. I can't get pregnant. Or, here's a good one. I'm allergic to condoms. Or, don't break the mood. Oh, it's just going to break the mood. I'm allergic to condoms. Have you guys heard of those before? Let me know in the comments. You know what I'm saying? So that's very important. Let your child understand, your son understand birth control. Birth control. You're going to hear all these type of excuses. It's to understand. Now, I'm going to tell you why it's important that you talk to your child, your son about, educate your child like, yeah, you're going to hear, oh, I'm not ovulating. I know my cycle, or I can't get pregnant, or I'm allergic to condoms, or you're breaking the mood. Make sure you tell them all these things the woman's going to say. And I don't care if you got to tell them, hey, the woman, she's trying to trap you. She might not be, because she's young and, she's young and dumb, just like our sons are young and dumb at that age, just like we were young and dumb at that age, right? So make sure that you tell them. So what the importance of telling them is that they'll look back, once they hear it, right? Oh, I want to feel the real thing. It'll be like, dang, my daddy said that. She'd say that. So it'll validate what you said. So it'll be like, damn, my daddy must be telling the truth. Or I want to feel the real thing. Or I can't get pregnant. Or I'm on the pill. But my daddy said you was going to say that. So they're more likely to be like, nah, let me put this condom on. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or, so that type of thing. So it's important that Listen, we shouldn't go through these experiences and not share them. That's why, listen, that's what I'm doing this for. I'm not charging anybody to do this. I'm just cracking open my cranium and pouring out information that I know to be able to help change the narrative. I'm not asking that for you guys, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. It is not costing you a dime. What it could cost you, though, is a like and a subscribe, because, look, I'm trying to build a platform. So guess what? Maybe YouTube have to pay me. You know what I'm saying? So I recently, passed 1,000 subscribers. And listen, I'm trying to build a community for men that want to be able to help their kids, even if you don't have your kids in your child, your son in your life, you can still be able to pour into your son to be able to help him not be in your position later. Now, to those that still have their son, you still want to give your son this information so he doesn't make a mistake and be able to up the probability for being away from his son, okay? Because we know the person that you're in a relationship isn't the person that you're going to break up with or divorce. Those people are totally different, and guess what? They're not in the business of reconciling, especially when the courts are in their corner. All right, so that's the second step, is talking about birth control, to include the things that they may hear, the quotes from, I can't get pregnant, I'm allergic to condoms, I want to feel the real thing, don't break the mood. Talk to them, tell them that. Implement your wisdom into your sons. Don't let it happen to you. Listen, if you got any type of content, you got this, look, this is real good stuff here, right? So if you agree, you get any value, remember, press like and subscribe to the channel. That's all that it costs. All right, check out. Now, number 3. This is huge. This is huge. Listen, as a father's rights advocate, I want to be able to share how I secured my sons in a divorce, how I secured 50-50 joint legal custody. I am not special, okay? I went through a lot of stuff when I was younger, and I vowed to when I was 11 that, hey, I was not going to be able to live without my kids. This is before I even knew what that good felt like. Before I even knew how to turn something over and arch it back. I knew that I was not going to live without my sons, without my kids in general. I could have had a son and 2 daughters. I would have them equally, or they'd have been with me, period. We got to get out of this notion thinking that, we got a daughter, we got to go with the mom. Screw that. Daughters need fathers as well. All right? So, no reason for not having 50-50. No reason not having a 50-50 joint physical. I don't need that 50-50 legal. That's crap. You know what I'm saying? 50-50 joint physical custody. No reason why, if you live close enough, you shouldn't have week on, week off, or some type of alternating days, depending on how young or old the child is. All right, now this is important. Remember when I talked about this about changing? It's not about changing the laws, it's about changing your behavior, okay? I'm gonna tell you guys something. Stay with me now, don't get upset. The laws are the laws. They're like that for a reason. This is by design, okay? Now, the laws didn't change for me in 2006 for me to be able to secure my sons, okay? I have videos out showing how I got my sons through the divorce in the 5-step process that I did, in which I coined those five steps I did were the 5 flawless fatherhood factors for fathers, for married fathers to be able to secure their children through a divorce. And basically what I found out is I did the same thing. I did the opposite of what most fathers do. I'll pin that video in the comments and at the top comment and in the description, so you will check that video out. That's for you married fathers, or if you intend don't get married. It's very important you have this information. You don't want to make mistakes or or make mistakes in the marriage, and then then you want to come back and look at the videos after you've made 2 or 3 vital mistakes. So, but let's just go work on this right here. This is very important. This is step 3. And I want you to listen to this short clip before I come back and summarize. Remember, for all of the current and future unwed fathers, it is essential that you establish paternity and get a joint custody agreement with the child's mother. Doing this legitimizes your rights as the father and secures an equal or adequately agreed upon timeshare in the event of an unfortunate breakup. Doing this will also serve as an insurance policy, basically, as it pertains to your child's custody timeshare. This will greatly minimize the possibility of parental alienation, child manipulation, or both. In closing, establishing paternity and getting a joint custody agreement ensures that the child has both parents in their lives. And to be perfectly honest, ladies and gentlemen, that is the answer to the majority of the world's issues. Now, check this out. The ideal time to start this process is as soon as the child is born. I call this the Flawless Fatherhood 30-day rule, as to which it's at this time is when both unwed parents are at their most agreeable and truly want what's best for their newborn child, more likely than not. The system is not going to teach us this, gentlemen, but that's what I'm here for. I hope it makes sense to you. It does to me. Now, here's the deal. That is the kicker. See, no one talks about that. I'm in the business here at Flawless Fatherhood, Mr. 50. I'm in the business of attacking this crisis, this fatherless narrative. It's not just a narrative. This fatherless crisis, this single mother epidemic at its root. They want to break up the family so our children will not, black, white, or indifferent, or in between. They want to break up the family so that child, that son, that daughter, that boy, that girl cannot grow up to be the best version of themselves led by a father's influence, okay? So, but that's the kicker. I was able to secure my youngest son through an unwed relationship when he was younger. I never signed a birth certificate, okay? But I was able to secure him. Why? Because I was able to demonstrate being an active part in his life just as much or more than the mother. I freaking killed those best interests of a child factors. It was easy for me to do because I was just that active. But let's get back to the third part. Establishing paternity and getting a joint custody agreement. What the system has done was convinced us as fathers, unwed fathers, let's talk about unwed fathers, because we're focusing on here. They convinced us that you just, after you have a child, you sign the birth certificate, that's it. Oh my gosh, all your father's rights are clamped and locked in. Most of us know that's not enough. Some people, but they still be, I need to sign the birth certificate. Sure, that's a good step, right? But signing the birth certificate does not guarantee you, does not provide a unwed father with time sharing rights. It does not. Google it, you'll find out. Maybe I put it on the screen, maybe not. But signing a birth certificate does not offer that for a father. It does have nothing to do with that. But what it does do, it puts you obligated to take care of the child financially, i.e. child support at the end of the day, when it comes to it. So to me, I never signed it, but so it really kind of told me, like, is it necessary? Have you guys ever heard of anybody getting penalized, going to jail, getting a ticket for not signing a birth certificate? You never have. Anybody ever got a summons in the mail for not signing a birth certificate? No. Yes, it has its purpose, but it's voluntary. All right? Plenty of guys sign the birth certificate, 90-some percent of guys, but guess what? If you don't handle your business by legitimizing your rights as a father and getting that on, establishing paternity and getting a joint custody agreement, that mother can take that child legally and take that child to freaking Alaska, and you can't do nothing about it because the unwed mother automatically has rights soon as the child is born. So what I've implored, and I understand, this is what attorneys and lawyers won't tell you. They won't tell you, hey, you're unwed, because you're unwed to the mother, and she, even though you're not wed, she's automatically the custodial parent, that you have to come in agreement with the mom and get a joint custody agreement, establish paternity, and get a joint custody agreement with the mom. Within that paperwork, that legal paperwork from the courthouse, you'll establish that you're the father, And it's not necessarily saying, oh, you got to go get a DNA test. That's not necessarily it. Establishing paternity can be simple as the mother agreeing on paper, on legal document, that you're the father, and you're agreeing that you're the father. Boom. Establishing paternity. Okay, we got that agreed. Nobody's fighting it. Now, because you're unwed, let's establish get a joint custody agreement. So what you want to do in the joint custody agreement, based on your job or based on your life, you want to ideally do 50-50 joint physical custody. You should do. And you get that done, your agreement, and get it put on paper. Just walk through the paperwork. It's only like 3 or 4 pages. Not that difficult. You might have to do a financial affidavit, both of you. You probably have to do a parenting class, all that type of stuff, but that's fine. Having a child you got to treat it like a business. A lot of us got businesses. You know what I'm saying? Got businesses and make hella money. A lot of your favorite content creators don't have their kids. Hella money coming in every month. Hella money coming in every year. But when they turn that camera off, they're broken. I know because I've seen them call in to certain channels, to certain spots. This dude got 150,000 subscribers and ain't seen his kid in 9 months based on his own admission. But his followers won't know that. But I'm not talking about those type of people. What I'm saying is what you see and what you see from people is not necessarily the truth. I know we've been programmed to believe everything that we see. I'm not going to go off on a tangent of that. But listen, what you have here is a person that's done it and has walked the walk. Now, I ain't finna sit up here and tell you about no fitness because I'm overweight as hell. But guess what? I'm going to talk to you and educate you about how to be able to secure your children. Our children are the most important thing to us. So why in the hell are we sitting back and letting someone else, even though the person that carried them, do the primary raising of them? Because some of us are strong physically, but we're weak mentally up here. We need to strengthen this up here. All right? And part of that is just not educating yourself with laws. You can if you want to, but establishing paternity and getting a joint custody agreement in the first 30 days. That's why I coined it the Flawless Fatherhood 30-day rule. And I say that because that's when the unwed mother and father are at their most agreeable. It's like during a honeymoon stage, if you will, right? So you get that done then. So now guess what? Now, once all that's done, you have both of you, that's what makes it where both parents, after that's done, after establishing paternity and getting a joint custody agreement, both parents, parent mother, parent father, they are both custodial parents, even though they're not married. And they have equal rights to the child. Now that mother just can't up and take the kid. Because then she's like straight up breaking the law because she's taking them away from the home that the child is in. Or like me, I have my son here. I have my son with me a week. He's here with me now. He's in his room, probably on a game or something. And when it's his mom week, it's her time authority for him. She can't interrupt my time, and I don't try to interrupt hers. But guess what? We work with each other. And you know why it works? Because she doesn't have him the majority of the time. So she can't debo him and control the narrative. But if I just had every other weekend, she'll be making excuses saying, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, and screwing me up. Not saying she would, but she's likely to, like most unwed mothers, like most mothers do at times when, and what a father have to do, open up a case and go and, try to file contempt, pour money into the system, and then get a little slap on the wrist. But guess what? When you have a joint custody agreement, when you establish a paternity and get a joint custody agreement, and you share equal time shares with the child, and you're both custodial parents, it's almost like you were married because you have equal rights. The only reason married fathers lose rights is because they give it away. Mm-hmm. They give them away because they're programmed to separate and to leave the marital home and things like that. Listen, it's all programming. We got to deprogram ourselves. Allow the woman to make the mistake if they're going to do it, but you shouldn't. But this program here is about giving you the top 3 reasons how you can save your sons to not be statistics and lose their children when they have some. Okay? Talk to them about safe sex. Talk to them about birth control and the things they may hear to avoid having a child young. And last but not least, is to establish paternity. And when they do have a child, unwed, is to establish the paternity and get a joint custody agreement ASAP Rocky. Now, if your son is married, guess what? You don't have to do that because you're bound by the marriage already. You got equal rights. But if I know, if you know anybody that has a child, that has a child and they're not married, guess what? They haven't established their rights. They're not the legal father, as far as the state's concerned, because they haven't legitimized their rights as a father. So they basically out here just freeballing it, freelancing it, just, yeah, my son, my daughter. But that mother is the sole custodial parent. And guess what? When it comes down to it, she's going to show you that she is, and she's going to remind you nicely. We don't want that. So again, that's the most important thing. If more fathers did that, established unwed fathers, established paternity and got a joint custody agreement in the beginning, before the drama and breakup stuff happens, and stay clear of the silver bullet, which is restraining orders, because that's very important. So you got to make sure you got to be smart and savvy. You got to make sure you don't get out of character. Because a lot of women, they would use that, and that actually helps. I won't say helps. It'd be able to help them as you'll lose position with the child. So look, just handle your business. Listen, if you have a son, educate your son, and make sure if your son has a child. It don't matter if your child, I hope he ain't under age of 16 or 17 or whatever, but if he's a young adult or whatever this and that, even if he's not a young adult and you have a son, if you're watching this and you're older, like me, or older, tell your son, listen, you want to go and legitimize your rights so you can be the legal father and be a custodial parent just like the mother is. Because that's the whole thing. People are like, oh, they treat us non-custodial parents so bad. The system is wicked. Sure, the system's wicked. Nobody told us what we needed to do. Your attorney ain't gonna tell you. Judges ain't gonna tell you. I've seen attorneys walk around it the whole time through. Why would attorneys tell fathers to get established paternity and get a joint custody agreement as soon as you have an unwed child? Why would they tell you that? Because they know if they tell you that, now whenever you break up, the mother knows, like, oh snap, yeah, we did do this paperwork and we agreed that, we was going to share time equally until our child was 18 years old or graduated high school. Oh, so I can't just do what I want to do. Oh, dang, that's right. So then you're more likely to be like, okay, well, yeah, what time? And you're more likely to agree within yourself to be like, well, we done what, and then you'll be able to say, well, it just fall back on what you agreed to, within the paperwork, within the custody agreement. You got to have that done. So if you break up and you never get married and you break up, you already have established your rights. See, what happened is guys aren't legitimizing their fatherhood, right? From the time you have an unwed child. Then they break up and then mom take the kid or kids. Then you want to try to double back and get your rights. No. Do it before early, right there early in the timeline, before you break up. Now, if you break up, when you break up, or whatever, you'll already be in position. You ain't got to go back because you already did it. Establish paternity and get a joint custody agreement. That's it. That's what we're supposed to do, but nobody tells unwed fathers that. If you can help me spread the word, I'd appreciate it. Again, that's life-saving information. Life-saving information. I'm sorry, but not sorry for making this video so long, but I had to let me pour out. At the end of the day, I'm doing this to change the culture. If you value anything that I said, any type of information, if you've heard any of those things that I said that women would say, let me know in the comments. But please like the video, share the video, and that's part of changing the narrative. The more you can share this with people, may it be on social media, Facebook, sending it to family members and friends, the more you help change the narrative. I'm just the vessel. I went through the nonsense. I had a terrible stepdad situation, whatever, and I vowed I didn't like my dad not being there. And it's led me to securing my children on both ends of the spectrum through a marriage, divorce, and unwed. And I want all fathers to be able to get the same results. That's why I am doing this. I also got information and other videos coming out, videos that are out about how to be able to strategically get back more timeshare and get to a 50-50 if you're not in a 50-50, 50-50 joint physical custody with your child, regarding your child with your child's mother. So look, this is very important. I appreciate you guys. Remember, share this, like the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought about what I said. Listen, I am not an attorney. I don't want to be an attorney. This is not legal advice. But this is information that I've went through and I've accumulated that I want to be able to share with you. This is only a portion. That's why I would like you to like the video and subscribe and talk to me in the comments. I can't wait to hear what you got to say. I know I'm going to get some people like, no, you got to do this in the Constitution and the laws. I didn't need none of that freaking crap. And I got the results I needed. I want you to get the results as well. This your boy, Mr. 50-50 from Flawless Fatherhood. Too tight, I got a big old head. I'll see you on the next video. Remember to subscribe. I can't do this alone. I'm only the vessel. See you on the next video. Subscribe to Flawless Fatherhood. Subscribe to Flawless Fatherhood. Subscribe to Flawless Fatherhood.